You're watching In Focus. African music is pulsating with raw talent, from hip-hop to rhythm and blues to reggae and authentic African beats. The sounds are sizzling. Maurice Kirya is a rising singer from Uganda. I recently spoke with him here in Washington and asked him to describe his musical style.
I call it moyo, which moyo means soul in Luganda and maybe means heart, means the same in Swahili. And over years, because of the influences I've had from R&B to jazz to African music to Lingala, because of my parents, I picked up so much, but I wanted to do something that really relates with who I am inside. And who am I? I am that pearl that's been gathering so many things from whoever's been around me. And when I sang, I wanted people not to hear genre or language, but I wanted them to hear my soul.
Now, when I listen to your music, it sounds great, but to a great degree, sounds like you're mimicking the Western style, whether one is doing jazz or soul. There's a lot of hip hop there, and rap and all that. As a singer, as a Ugandan who wants to really succeed and have that identity, has this crossed your mind?
Yes, it has, but I've come to terms with the fact that everywhere people have an influence. It's the reason why when we go out in offices, we're not necessarily wearing traditional clothing, but we're wearing suits and ties, which is something that did not exist before. And I always think about it as I am a tree, and I'm still young, and so my roots are not as deep as maybe yours would be. I'm just growing up, and what I know, I've grown up in technology and the days of internet. And what I sing about, I'd be hypocritic if I was talking about things I didn't understand. So right now I like to do things that relate to who I am as a being, not just to put out there an impression of how deep I can go. There's people who can do that better than me, though.
Yeah, but as an African kid, does it sometimes concern you that perhaps there is so much of us that is being lost as we embrace everything that is external, whether, of course, it's in our dressing style or even our music, which represents supposed ideally to represent our culture? Do you get that feeling that we're losing something?
Every other day. Every other day I see we're missing a lot of ourselves, and it's getting lost in the cables, I like to call it. And it's up to the older generation to really teach the new generation of what's been there in the past, or else we're going to get the younger generation is always going to pick on what's easiest to find, and that's what maybe the Western world is giving.
Would you say that the lure of money, quick money, that is really pouring into the pockets of the musicians and producers is also to some degree playing a part in people focusing on what is of immediate benefit rather than perhaps capturing the culture within us and around us and encapsulating that in music?
There's not much copyright laws in Africa, and that is really giving most musicians a hard time, and they start to move from their own cultural music and moving to certain record labels that are out of the countries as to get known, and that's where the money comes in. So they start to sell their souls and move away from what they have, because back at home they have no money.
I would like to hear you sing a little bit, something of your choice. Can you give us a line or two?
Njaba imbiranga siwera engule mitima bagitwalira mu buveera bafuyirira bugalo babeere balamuwenkera leka nze ne ŋŋenda njaba imbiranga siwera engule emitima bagitwalira mu buveera bafuugirira bugalo babeere balamu enkeera. That's a song called I Will Sing from my album. Thank you.
engule emitima bagitwalira mu buveera bafuugirira bugalo babeere balamu enkeera. Leka nze nengenda njabayimbira nga siweera engule emitima bagitwalira mu buveera bafuugirira bugalo babeere balamu enkeera.
And we leave you on that beautiful note. Have a safe, wonderful weekend. Till next week. Good night.
Good night.